Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Today, Riot decided to release the PreSeason 2023 preview. For me, this is going to be my 10-year anniversary season coming up. I started playing in May of 2013. I still remember my first two bot games were Varus Mid and Vibe Bot. Boy, were those fun, different, and exciting times. Well, coming up on 10 years for me as a player and 13 years, 13 seasons for League of Legends, this is going to get interesting. I've only looked through a little bit of this, so most of this is going to be fresh for both you and me. So what better way to kick this off than both of us going through this together? So let's jump right into it. A quick and easy reference guide for all of PreSeason 2023. Quick and easy, they say. Well, let's see. PreSeason 2023 changes will be hitting the PBE tomorrow. That will be October 4th. Before they're out, we wanted to walk you through all the changes you can expect to see roll out on the PBE. Cool. Housekeeping note, things will be in a pretty early state when you first see them, so expect changes to things like icons, item and effect names, visual sound effects, stat values, etc. Bearing massive table flips, because this is not Tabletop Simulator, this preview page won't be updated after publishing. When the patch notes come out, they'll have all the final details as usual. So, let's get into it. The return of Chemtech. During my year off, I was not around for the Chemtech Drake, so I did not experience this, so this is going to be exciting for me. Chemtech Drake will be returning this preseason with a brand new buff and a soul. So here are the two things. Chemtech Drake will now grant a small amount of tenacity and a heal shield strength when slain, so there's going to be more of a tanky Drake. And Chemtech Soul will grant bonus damage when below a certain amount of health. So this is going to be like a this is going to stack really well with Elder, so it's going to be like a execute type thing, because abilities that deal increased damage based off of missing health are considered executes. So this is going to be really interesting to see how this stacks up with Elder. Alongside the Chemtech Drake, the Rift will take on a new Chemtech-inspired appearance. Awesome. So, talked about map skins in a different video, so this is going to be interesting to see how Chemtech changes the map. And different changes to plants, it looks like. Blast cones will now have those in range, will now blast those in range twice as far as before. Wow. Okay. Honey fruits will upgrade into stem fruits, no longer slowing champions that consume them and granting a small bonus shield in addition to the usual heal. So never underestimate small movement speed changes. This is going to be huge for anybody in River grabbing some fruit to heal. Scryer's Bloom, which is the vision plant, will upgrade into Stalker's Bloom. When hit, these plants will now reveal a small circular area around the plant in a cone opposite of the direction it was hit, granting movement speed towards revealed enemies and reducing wards revealed to 1 health. Interesting to see if this is going to be a permanent 1 health or if there's going to be a recovery cooldown. This part right here is a very, very interesting change. So when hit, these plants will now reveal a small circular area around the plant and a cone opposite of the direction it was hit. So consider this. You're playing blue side and you go up to Baron right in that little crevice as it goes into River. And in order to get vision in the enemy jungle, you have to stand on the Baron side of it or the red side of it. So the thing that's going to make this interesting is that if you want that vision, let's say you have to go ward up there first, or it's that part of the river is completely unwarded, like you're taking an even bigger risk hitting that cone because you have to go stand on the enemy side to do it. Likewise, if you're playing red side and you have to walk into that section of the jungle, you're actually walking into blue jungle in order to get blue vision. So this is going to be a very, very interesting change for plants when the Chemtech Drake comes out, and seeing how this is going to shake things up macro-wise in the meta. Jungle improvements. This is one of the big things Riot was talking about with wanting to make jungling easier for new players or new junglers, which, you know, considering the fact that Riot wanted to make things easier for new players with Yuumi, we're gonna see how this plays out and affects the jungle role. So it looks like we have 3 little guys right here. We got a Flareon, a Vaporeon, and maybe a Larvitar. Not 100% sure what the grass evolution for the grass evolution for Eevee is, but this is definitely not a Bulbasaur, I'll tell you that much. Avatar Smites and Jungle Pets. So it looks like we might be getting the descendants of our Season 5 Ghost Puppy in the jungle here. The jungle is a dangerous place, and it's dangerous to go alone. So take this. So take one of these jungle pets by purchasing them in the in-game shop as an egg. So I wonder if they're going to be getting rid of the 2 knives they have that transform your smite. They probably will. These pets will acquire treats through monster kills and slowly over time. So that's going to be like, smite charges almost. Like how you have to go from 5 to 0 in order to get your chilling or your blue smite or your red smite. Slowly over time, as the game progresses, which will help them evolve. Once evolved, pets will give their owners avatar buffs, which empower them with different abilities. And let's go over those. So Noxian Embercat, which is going to be our Flareon up here. Pre-evolved, post-evolved. This will be the pet of choice for junglers looking to play more aggressively, so counter junglers is what that translates to. It will provide slows and burn damage. Wow, could you imagine Lee Sin and Shaco with more slows? Pardon me for mispronouncing this. I first time through this. Ixtali or Zatali Zamander. Some kind of salamander. I'm assuming it's this guy, the green guy. This jungle pet is perfect for junglers looking to frontline and tank for their teams, so like Sejuani, Scion. It will provide a shield based on your health that provides bonus slow resist and tenacity when broken. Interesting. So we have offensive, we have defensive, and then I'm assuming that this is also going to be adaptive damage too, because you can't just have 80 junglers doing this. Like I'm assuming that this is something like Fiddlesticks might take. And then we have Ionian Cloud Leaper, which is our blue guy here. This jungle pet will be great for junglers looking to rotate and move around the map more quickly. It will provide bonus movement speed. And obviously, based off of the context we're seeing here, I don't think this is out of combat movement speed. This, right out of the gate, is going to be the most broken, period. These stats don't matter for junglers as much because being able to rotate around the map for their role early and mid-game supersedes what these can do. Now, obviously, we don't know yet if you're going to be able to sell these guys or if it gets consumed like the current jungle knives do. I believe these are, like, the little guy, the egg will get consumed, so you'll have the smite and the buff that they give you. But right out of the gate, until buffs and nerfs come for the new jungle, this is probably going to be the most broken one just because of being able to have increased roam and lane pressure. So leashing range indicators, more jungle changes for new junglers. In an effort to make the jungle more welcoming to players unfamiliar with the role, we'll be adding visual leashing indicators that will show how far camps can be pulled before their patience starts diminishing. We're also decreasing the distance camps can be pulled, so no more having to stand on the perfect pixel in order to hyper optimize jungle clear. So I think this is a good change, especially since dual camp clearing has become something that junglers have both started doing and has become a necessity to both do and learn. This, I would like to point out, flirts in the area of how much information is too much information that Riot gives you. So let me give you an example. So if you're playing a solo lane, top or mid lane, imagine if you had every time minions came into your lane, one of those minions had a symbol around it saying that once this minion dies, this will be the minion that causes you to level up, instead of that information being hidden. That's one of those things where it's like, okay, this is too much information for me to know. Because, like, let's say both of you are level 5, but you know based off of that minion indicator that you'll hit level 6 first if you play aggressive. It's one of those things where that's unhealthy for the game to know that. You have to develop a game sense and learn those type of things on your own. This flirts in that area of having too much knowledge, but it doesn't cross that line, in my opinion, because of the fact that dual clearing has become a thing. So, for example, clearing blue and Gromp together, just like clearing red and Raptors together, has become such a normalized thing in the jungle that I think it's okay to have indicators for this rather than having to learn exactly where to stand. So this is one of those things that I think is okay. Recommended jungle paths, another addition, some more jungle changes for new players. Another addition we have to help make the jungle more accessible are recommended jungle paths for every champion. These first clear paths are determined by gathering data from high-skill junglers on their high mastery camps across the globe. Pathing recommendations are based on which routes most often led these players to a victory and will be updated each patch. So this is really important because this could end up ruining the game in the long term for new junglers. And I don't just mean people who eventually figure the role out. I mean new players who continually cycle in to learn jungle should they be interested in. Because if this wasn't updated each patch, every champion going through buffs and nerfs, every jungle camp going through buffs and nerfs, and the game evolving over time, those clear paths could change drastically. And if you keep those same paths there for the recommended clear, it would be unhealthy for the game. But this is big, and I'm glad Riot's having foresight about this, because will be updated each patch means that you're looking to make sure that these players who are learning the role have the most updated information when it comes to clears. Now, is learning how to clear efficiently one of those things where it's like, hey, it's better to learn it because then you're learning more about the game and you're learning more numbers? Sure, but again, this is one of those things where it's like, as long as they're keeping it updated and as long as nothing is getting out of control from a number standpoint, this is one of those things that it's okay for Riot to do something. It's okay. It's not a game-breaking thing, essentially. So communication tools, updated pings, really excited about this. So updated ping wheel. League is a team game at its core. I have a few comments, but I'll keep that to myself. In order to better facilitate communication between teammates, we're doubling the number of pings available to players. The 8 pings on the wheel will now be as follows. Returning pings, clockwise retreat. So retreat, on my way, assist me, and enemy missing. So 12, 3, 6, and 9. And then new pings clockwise, push, all in. Sorry. Push, which is up here, all in, hold, and bait. They used a fishing hook. That's funny. And then we have those at 2, 4, 8, and 10. So this is really good for communication, and it's going to save a lot of keystrokes in chat. And then the enemy vision ping, new vision pings. We're also adding an entirely new ping wheel that focuses primarily on vision. Using this wheel, you can now indicate the following. Left to right, vision cleared, enemy vision, and need vision. This one we currently have, but it's going to be really nice to have this one and this one. So like I said, vision cleared for the blue one and need vision for this one. So this might look a little weird. One nice change is going to be, so I use a Razor Naga, and so I have my vision bound to 7, but the rest of my items I have 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. So hopefully I'm doing a good job with this. But the point is I'm weird like that because I have all my other key bindings normal. Pings are on G. V is the instant warning, the yellow exclamation point that I have. And then all my other abilities, QWER, AS, DF, Flash on D, very important. And then Z for chat. So it's one of those things where it's going to be nice to have all 7, for me personally, all 7 of my items bound back to all 7 keys. And I say 7 because there's 6 item slots in the ward slot, so there's that. Objective voting. So getting your team on board with taking an objective can be difficult, and having everyone ping on my way if they can contest or retreat. They can be very confusing. We're introducing a new voting function that will allow when objectives are pinged. Function similar to a surrender vote. So obviously it's the same type of thing. I don't know if it's going to be I don't know if it's going to be if you're going to be able to bind it, if it's going to be in the what is it called, the escape menu. I don't know how this is going to be able to be brought up. It might end up being a good idea. I've never seen them implement something like this, so I'm very cautious about this one. I don't think it's a bad idea, but I'm very cautious to see how this one will play out, just because I don't know how you're going to be able to bring it up, and if it's going to be from a micro game standpoint with your left hand, if it's going to be feasible. Off-screen pings, the last communication change we have for you is a small quality of life update that will notify which direction an off-screen ping came from by displaying it on the edge of your screen. Enemy missing pings will show on your screen regardless where they are pinged on the map, while retreat, on my way, assist me, hold, all in, push pings, etc. will only be displayed if they're within 3,000 units approximately. Okay, so essentially this is the kind of thing where, like, if you're playing a first-person shooter and you get shot, it'll show you on the direction of your screen based off of which game you're playing. PUBG, as an example, doesn't do this, but if you get shot from the right, then you're going to have red pop up over here, so that's that same kind of thing. Vision system updates, allied ward tracking. While there are currently ways to see how many wards you have out there, there isn't a quick way to check which wards are closest to expiring other than to manually look at every ward place. We're introducing a new ward visual in the minimap that will indicate when wards are close to expiring. They will change appearance when wards reach 60 and 30 seconds. Okay, so that's really cool for Allied. It's going to be nice to be able to see again on the minimap. This is great information because obviously with the wards, with your wards on the map, your wards also constitute team wards. So that'll be really good. Enemy ward timers. It can be hard to keep track of every single ward that gets placed on the map, and even harder to successfully communicate that information to your teammates. Now, if you ping an enemy ward that you saw them place within the last 10 seconds, a perfectly accurate ward timer will appear until the ward is removed or expires. What? What? I'm sorry? Now, if you're ping an enemy ward that you saw them place within the last 10 seconds, a perfectly accurate ward timer will appear. Okay. It says ward timer. It says ward timer will appear. So here's my question then. Does that mean that when the ward goes invisible, it's going to be on the mini-map with a timer? Like, if my roaming support pings wards, they're going to be on the map until they expire, technically speaking. I really hope that isn't the case, because as I had mentioned back up here with the where is it? The clearing the jungle paths thing. Again, I hope this isn't what I think it is, but this would be uber broken if pinging a ward essentially gives it vision on the minimap, because part of what the game is strategically warding. So even if you come up on a ward that you can't clear because your scanner is on cooldown or you don't have a pink ward, I hope this doesn't play out, because that's going to break the game. That would really break the game if this ends up being what I think it's going to be. Loadout and ability recommendations, recommended root pages of summoner spells. So this is good. Obviously, Riot has talked about third-party systems in the last week or so. Not 100% sure why they would necessarily want to not have third parties that have this particular kind of information with runes and summoner spells. Reason being is that from a just from a business standpoint, if you think about it, third parties being able to build upon what Riot has created is very good for Riot's business. That being said, I don't foresee, or not foresee, but like I don't necessarily see, have seen a problem with third parties giving bad information. But at the same time, like I'm glad that Riot wants to make things as easy and as clear and concise as possible for new players as well as people who are learning the game. So this kind of dips into that area a little bit. Recommended abilities, so just ability leveling. Everybody knows, or most people should know that have a basic grasp of the game, that you always level one ability, level 9, then 13, and then I believe it's 18, and then your ultimate always is 6, 11, and 16, with the exception of transforming champions like Jason Elise and Karma, for example, who already have their ultimate at level 1 and use their ultimate to modify their base kits. So that's fine. Top lane changes, and I don't see other. I just see items, so I'm a little worried about this one. We'll also be making some adjustments to help top laners scale faster and hit those key item and level breakpoints faster relative to mid and bot. Not exactly sure why relative to mid, because mid is a solo lane. So I feel like mid and top should be equal in terms of that. Now bot is different because you have 2 people down there, but how interesting would it be if bot lane became top lane and then it flip-flopped because of the experience change, giving ADCs and support? Because like the whole thing you have to think about is like if 2 players can level up faster than 1 player, it's more valuable. It's more valuable just for the game overall. So yeah, let's look at this. Solo lane experience. Solo lanes will now receive 90% experience multiplier, previously 93% for minions. Duo lane experience. Duo lanes will now receive 22% bonus. Okay. Okay. Will now receive 22% bonus experience multiplier, previously 24.73%. Yeah, ADCs and supports gotta be loving this change right now. Mid lane gold changes. All minions spawned in the mid lane will now be worth 1 less gold before 14 minutes when last hit. Previously, only cannon minions were worth less gold, but were worth 10 less gold. So this has got to be getting into like some high elo number, like high MMR type numbers stuff, because I'm a mid-range like gold to platinum player. Hopefully next season that's going to change, but yeah. So this one I'm not 100%. I'm not processing this one 100%. I'm not quite sure what this is about, because in my mind I always thought that like top and mid were like identical in terms of minions and playing the lane. Obviously mid roams more, but I thought that was honestly the biggest difference besides that. This one, on the other hand, I'm not 100% sure what's going on here. Like why nerf bot lane like that? So we'll see. New and updated items. Oh boy. Let's go. We're introducing 12 new updated items in this preseason. As a disclaimer, please note that item stats, effects, and even names are subject to change while on the PvE. Icathia's Endurance. It's a mythic. 400 health, 30 armor, 30 magic resist, 20 ability haste. Voidborn Resilience. For each second a champion is in combat, gain a stat granting 3 armor and magic resist up to 10 max. So it's an additional 30. So that would boost the whole item from 30 to 60 in combat. At max stacks, become empowered, instantly draining enemies around you for 4%. Maximum health each reduced to 1% against minions and monsters, and doubling your resist from stacks until 60-second cooldown. Oh, so this is an active. Okay. Okay, so this isn't... Okay. This isn't active. So this is like once per fight, basically. Which seems kind of busted. This is clearly going to be a tank support item. The mythic passive grants all other legendary items 5. Yeah, so there's going to be a tank support item. So I'm curious to see maybe that's what this change had to do with that, is the fact that drain tanking is going to become the thing for the beginning of next season when it comes to bot lane. So Thresh, Leona, Blitzcrank are going to be huge. Radiant Virtue, mythic item. Looks like this is another... excuse me, it looks like this is going to be another support mythic. 400 health, 30 magic armor and magic resist, 20 ability haste, guiding light. Upon casting your ultimate, you transcend, increasing your maximum health by 10% for 9 seconds. While transcend, you and your allies within 1200 range of you gain 25 non-ultimate ability haste. You and allies will also heal for 1.5 of your maximum health. Oh, God. Increased by up to 100% based on that champion's missing health. Healing is doubled on yourself. What happened in nerfing healing, Riot? Like, what is this with a 90-second cooldown? So okay, so this is like... Okay, so this is... Okay, so this is more for the bot lane. This is more for team fights. Okay. Mythic passive grants all other legendary items on health. So this is another situational support mythic item that is for tanks. So again, it seems like they're going to be going for tank supports dominating bot lane next season. Iceborn, yay! Our boy Iceborn Gauntlet's making a comeback. Mythic item, 400 health, 400 armor, 20 ability haste. So no magic resist. Interesting. Spellblade. After using an ability, your next attack is enhanced with an additional 100% base AoE physical damage that creates a frost field for 2 points. So it's just like old Iceborn Gauntlet, except now it's a mythic. Enemies that move across the field are slowed by 15% plus 3,000% of your maximum health. Your primary target is slowed for double the amount and has their damage against you reduced by 10% for 2.5 seconds. Our boy Malphite's making a comeback, baby. Same with Maokai. I would for itemizing against 3, 4, and 580 team comps is going to be a very good item. And Mythic passive grants all other legendary items 5 health, 5% tenacity, and 5 slow resist. So, assuming that they're going to get rid of, forget what it's called, the current Iceborn Gauntlet, this is what it's going to be replaced with. So because they're getting rid of magic resist, I'm assuming that they're trying to make itemization against certain team team compositions in general. So if you see 3 AD as a tank, this is what you get. Also, this has a lot of sticking power too because of the slow. Also, I'd like to point out that because of the 1.5 second cooldown, I'm assuming this is going to be a Sheen item. So just like the last Iceborn Gauntlet and the way that Trinity Force works and Lichbane, activate an ability, auto attack, 1.5 second cooldown, activate an ability, auto attack. So you get the idea. Goliaths Ascendiary, mythic item, 800 health, 200% base health regen. 20 ability haste. Colossal Consumption. Charge up a powerful attack against a champion over 3 seconds while within 600 range of them. So a little bit of a skill cap here. The charge attack drains the target, dealing 50 plus 10% of your maximum health as bonus physical damage and healing you for the same amount. You permanently gain max health equal to 15% of the drain, 30-second cooldown per target. Note, maximum health will be lost when the item is sold. What? Mythic passive grants all other legendary items 1% increased health and 6% champion size. So, like, clearly this is something meant for Cho'Gath, but, like, there's no resistances. So I'm wondering, Cho'Gath and probably Sion too, so I guess I guess this is going to be, like, some kind of... like health stat. It's like a combination health stacking offensive type of thing, which, you know, Sion, Cho'Gath, those type of things. So we're gonna have to see how that plays out. Roa, Rod of Ages is coming back as a mythic item too. Interesting. So 60 ability power, 300 health, 300 mana. This item gains 20 health, 20 mana, 4 ability power every minute up to 10 times for a maximum of 200 health, 200 mana, and 40 ability power. Upon reaching max stacks, gain a level. Note the level cap will remain at 18, so obviously it's not going to infinitely stack, basically. Mythic passive, grant all other items 5 ability haste. So Swain, obviously, Cassiopeia, I can imagine Rise too. I can imagine champions like those building this, provided that what's it called? The one Mordekaiser builds. Why can't I think of it? Anyway, the one with Omnivamp. That one's probably sticking around because it's a non-mana item, but we'll see. Catalyst of Eons. So it looks like we're getting into legendary territory. 225 health, 300 mana. Eternity, restore mana. Oh, so this is going to build into Roa. Oh, so they're bringing back. They're bringing back Roa in its entirety. So I think that they put this here because this is actually the epic that builds into it, not a legendary. So Abyssal Mask, which is already there, 500 health, 300 mana, 40 magic resistant, 10 ability haste, Eternity, restore mana equal to 15% of the damage taken champions, and health equal to 20% on make a curse. So literally, Abyssal Mask is going back to the they're reverting Abyssal Mask, basically. They're doing a full revert of Abyssal Mask. Unbelievable. Like, in a good way, but unbelievable. Sunfire Age. What are they? What? I'm so confused. Why are they reverting everything? Sunfire Aegis, no longer a mythic item. 400 health, 50 armor. Immolate. Taking or dealing damage causes you to begin dealing 15 plus 1%, 75% of your bonus health. Magic damage nearby. Increase damaging champions or epic jungle monsters with this effect adds a stack. Increase by 10% for 5 seconds. So you mix this with this item, and can you just say we're going back to season 5? Can you just say we're going back to season 5, Riot? This is insane. Tanks are going to be busted next season. This is insane. Turbo Chem Tank, no longer a mythic item. 450 health. Same thing as it was as a mythic, just no longer a mythic. Randuin's Omen, 400 health. Season 5, active. Humility, briefly slow enemies by 55% to rock solid. Crystalline Resilience, apparently no longer an active. Critical strikes, steal 20% less. We're going back to season 5. We are literally going back to season 5. Spear of Sojin. Our boy Renekton's getting buffed. 65 attack damage, 300 health, 20 ability haste. Dragon Force. I see what you did, Riot. Dragon Force. Your ultimate ability gains 6 plus your non-ultimate spells. Your non-ultimate spells gain 6 plus 10% of your bonus AD for melee champions, and then a range stat. Ability haste. Reduced to 3 for mobilizing spells. Okay. So not only are you going to have ability haste, but this item is going to be a separate stat of ability haste that is given to your spells. So like if you have 100 ability haste and like let's say Renekton's Q goes from 6 seconds to 3 seconds, then from the way it sounds here, that 3 seconds is going to receive a further reduction because of having this item. Because it says here your non-ultimate spells gain 6 plus 10% of bonus AD for melee champions ability haste. So let's say you have 100 bonus AD plus your 100 ability haste. It's going to go from 6 to 3 seconds and 3 seconds to 1.5 seconds, if I'm understanding that correctly. Ability haste and then it's reduced by half for immobilizing spells. So his E and his Q, so just taking Renekton for example, because I don't know the exact stats off the top of my head. So his E and his Q, using that example, would go from 6 to 3 to 1.5, and then for this, with his W, if it was, again, 10 seconds, it would be 10 to 5 for the initial 100 ability haste, but then if we're having that, it'd be 50. So whatever 50 ability haste then reduces that second amount. That, wow. Ravenous Hydra. Are they buffing the Omnivamp slightly? Maybe. 65 attack damage, 20 ability haste. Cleave attacks. Okay. So this isn't changing too much. Carnivorous gain 0.5 AD and 0.1 whenever you kill an enemy, stacking up to 20. Lose 50%. Ooh. Okay. So they're making this like a risk reward item then. So gain 0.5 AD up to 25 AD and 0.1% Omnivamp when you kill an enemy up to 5%. Lose 50% of those stacks on that. So this is a risk reward item, but whenever you kill an enemy, so 5 to 25, so that, what is that, 50? Oh, I get it. So if killing an enemy, I'm assuming would be like a minion. So, because that takes 50 stacks to get there, and 0.1 to 5% is, what is that? So if it was 1 to 5% would be 5. So 0.1, so is that 50 as well? Yeah, that would, I believe that would be 50 as well. Yeah, so you have to get 50 minion kills. Yeah, you don't have to get 50 champion kills. That'd be a little busted. Can only hit each target once per, okay. Interesting. And that concludes the preseason 2023 PBE preview. We can't wait to see how all of you will use these tools to change the level of your game and what fun discoveries you can test out these changes. Thanks for reading, and we hope to see you on the Rift. So, TLDR, item-wise, it's Season 6, or Season 7, because of Spear Sojin and all the reverted changes and items they're bringing back. And vision-wise, we're going to have to see how that new ward mechanic plays out. I think it's going to be a little too broken, but we'll see. And jungle-wise, they're just making it easier for new junglers to play. So, a lot of new exciting stuff. Again, my 10th anniversary for playing this game coming up in a little less than a year here. 10 years of great memories, 10 years of, learning a bunch of stuff about myself, and 13 years for the game. So really looking forward to it, guys. Let me know what you think down in the comments. As always, I'm Remote Night Owl, and we will see each other again real soon. Have a wonderful day.